Does that mean I'm starting this one?
I think Kaleb is, because I started the last one, right?
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, you started with Lucky Day.
Yes.
Yeah,
Didn't really come up, unfortunately.
it did. There was a Lucky Day celebration. All the dancing.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. So once upon a time, there was a stepmother.
Nope, it was a woodsman.
Okay.
Wow.
This woodsman, was very jealous of the prince.
No, he was a secret.
What?
A secret woodsman.
No, he was not.
He was a secret.
Well,
I don't know if that works.
What?
I don't know if you can. Can you interrupt and interrupt?
Yeah, no, because he didn't say anything about.
I guess it's true.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So he's a secret woodsman.
So draw a card. This secretive woodsman was very brave. I was waiting.
No, he was very wealthy.
Yeah, there you go. I was waiting for you to interrupt.
Secret rich.
It's a secret witch.
The only cards on the field are interrupts.
Yeah.
Although very wealthy, he wanted to be more than just wealthy. He wanted to be the prince of the kingdom. Not a king, not a queen, the prince. So he went to a cave, and in this cave, he found stairs.
Wait, hold on. Stairs in the cave. Does that define dungeon?
No.
Okay.
They're just cave stairs. Natural. Down these
Natural.
stairs,
Yeah, sure.
he found a potion that can talk. And this potion told him that if he drinks it, he will become the prince. So of course he drank it. But little did he know, this potion was not a treasure, but a curse. And he started becoming a mad prince. A prince who was crazy. While he was going up the stairs, he slipped and he got hurt. And while he got hurt, he knocked his head, and the prince's madness was cured.
What?
Okay.
I didn't play anything.
I mean, that's not false.
I'm proud of him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it worked.
All right.
GG. I had this axe the whole time. I was so excited to use because he's a woodsman.
Yeah. He was a wood. Did you turn him into a monster or something? I don't even remember it at this point.
No, he just got cursed into being a mad prince.
Mad prince.
Yeah. And then he fell down the stairs, and that got rid of his madness. So the prince's madness was removed.
I had a hard time following that one.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I start this one, right?
Yes.
All right. Once upon a time, there was a young chef. This chef had was not very trustworthy, for they were skinny, and they say you never trust a skinny chef.
They were secretive.
Oh my god! I hate secrets.
It was a secret chef.
Secret fucking chef.
Chef had a secret, but this secret was a hard one to understand, as he was simply a frog wearing human clothing. Even he, as his days cooking, sometimes he would cause mischief, but overall, he was a very hard worker.
There's a lot of stuff being done in one sentence.
Well, there's periods.
Yeah.
I took breath.
That's not what a period is.
Okay, I'll rephrase it. So he was a frog, donning human clothing, who occasionally did mischief.
That's just not one sentence. Those are commas.
Commas?
Yeah.
Only so many commas, but
Yeah.
there's a couple of them. Like between here could be like a period or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And one day, in his kitchen by the river, he was doing hard.
That's one sentence.
That's still one sentence.
Really? Okay.
He was by the river doing hard work.
So that's when you should say something like, I don't know. His kitchen was near the river. Near the river, he was able to do hard work by being able to wash his dishes.
There you go. Thank you, baby.
Yeah.
While doing his dishes, people started to think, like, hey, why is the chef donning such a weird long tongue? What kind of secrets is he keeping? Is he some kind of monster? Pass.
Where do I go with that?
Don't
Pass.
forget to draw a card for passing.
No, you don't draw a card for passing.
Oh.
Oh, right, that's right.
You can discard and then draw a card if you don't like one of your cards.
The chef frog recalled his mother, somebody who he hadn't seen in a long time. They had last time he saw them, they were arguing pretty ferociously, and well, that argument was so rough that it ended up with them parting ways. He decided to pick up his phone and give his mom a ring.
What?
I mean, it's
I don't
not...
know. That's a thing. So it is clearly
Oh, yeah, it
an
has to be an
actual
object.
Oh,
ring.
fair.
Why is hard work an object? Is my next question.
Yeah.
Wait.
That should be an aspect.
If hard work is a thing, well, it'd be hard working would be an aspect.
Yeah, whatever.
I
Sure.
guess it is technically a noun. Anyway, his arguments with his mother mostly consisted. Stop flipping my stuff over.
Gave
his
her
mother-
a ring.
His arguments with his mother mostly consisted of the fact that, well, he simply refused to go to church, for he was afraid that if he did, she would realize that, well, he was a frog all along. He went to his he went to his river house's stair steps, where he thought for a long time about what he should do for his mother, and how he should break the news to her that he was actually a frog. He decided to buy a nice ring to give to her as a gift. He showed up to his mother, and, well, and he told her the truth, and, well, she was delighted with his unusual gift. Both of them.
Okay.
Beautiful.
I got that. That was a story and a half.
It was just a frog who was coming out to his parents. That's literally what the story was.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. It's a modern day fairy tale.
So you started that one.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm starting this. In the garden, a lonely maid sat down and watched
She was lonely?
the town.
Oh!
Oh no! Yeah.
So you were interrupted. You
So she watched the town. Behind her, her stepsister came and ordered her to start working. For her stepsister was very evil. The girl, or maid, as we would call her, was planning a way to escape her evil stepsister. Yep, escape. Go ahead.
Oh!
While is trying to escape her situation, she was quickly devising a plan, and soon she was able to leave the college. Although nearby the college was a vast cottage was a vast in which it did not take long for her to start not knowing where she was. Yes, indeed, she was lost.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed. Therefore and thusly.
While lost in the woods, she saw an axe. She grabbed the axe, hoping that it would help her find a way out, but it cast a spell, and now she was a giant humble maid. Yes, that was.
I don't know. Yeah, no, continue.
Okay. She now able to see her way out of the swamp as she towered over the trees.
So you say she
stomped
found her way through.
Yes.
Oh!
She found her way through the swamp, making her way towards the town. When she got to the town, she found that everyone was dancing. Today was the day of today was a day of celebration. However, upon her arriving, the people were scared. They didn't know what to think of her, and they ran. Pass.
People ran away at first, especially due to her immense size and her fear. However, she was still very beautiful, and that was enough to keep some people from running away immediately. In the end, she remained around the festival and was able to even make some friends. Um, she showed off her pretty intense strength from being giant by flexing around and being able to pull more than even a horse. Um, she realized that she needed to do something about her evil stepsister and, well, the evil family that she had over there, because there was just a whole bunch of horrible stuff going on. And she realized that she needed to do something to get to get against them. So she decided to head back to the cottage, and she knocked on the door with her massive fingertip. It was the wife of her father who answered the door, who arrived and said, "What are you doing here?" Before realizing just how large she was. At first, she was scared. Her whole life, her sensation of her father was poisoned by the abuse that her parents had given her. But that didn't prevent her in the end from being able to set her old cottage on fire.
And they
Which proves that heart is brave, that a heart that is brave and true will always triumph in the end.
There, yeah, okay.
I don't know. Yeah, because I don't. The cottage was on fire. It didn't break, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moral of the story is, burn your abusive parents' house.
I wanted her to meet a prince who the king wasn't proud of, so she'd fight off a storm, and then the king relented to make them let them be married. That was my plan.
I was expecting her to get giant.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I was waiting for you to mention how she's stronger, that she's big, because I had the very strong thing. I think this is Cat's. No, it's Caleb's starting.
Yeah. So, once upon a time, there was a guard.
Nope, there is a thief.
Oh my gosh.
Cat.
Let me grab it.
Why would you do this?
Because it's funny. This thief was being very brave this day.
No, he's actually crazy.
What?
This thief is absolutely crazy.
Draw a card.
He would run through the city wielding nothing more than a broom to perform all. Or let's see. He wielded a broom so that he could do all kinds of crazy tricks all throughout the city, even to the point where he frightened people who saw him, for his antics were quite insane. He one day, thinking about his crimes, he stood atop a bridge, peering over, gazing at the water below. He realized that maybe this life wasn't very fulfilling to him as he watched the water run. So he decided to jump into the river.
Is he sad?
Oh, I guess that counts.
Yeah.
Did he still jump into the river?
I think he
Yes.
would have still jumped in the river, yeah.
He jumped into the river, and while in the river, he saw something shiny. So he picked it up, and the shiny thing came alive. This shiny thing was a jewel who was very smack talk, a little foolish. Now having a new best friend, the thief climbed out of the river. He ended up going closer back into the city and went to the gardens to relax.
He actually went home.
Oh. Interrupt card.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. So he went home instead of to the garden.
Yeah.
In going home, he found that his wife lay on the bed. She had pass.
Oh.
Oh, she had
Crap.
passed!
Yeah. Woo. All right. Go ahead.
Looking at his wife and holding his prized jewel in his hand, he realized that he needed to decide whether he wanted to be by his wife's side or truly run away from this life that he had. Um, as time went on, he found out that he was transforming into quite a bit of a what's the word? What's the word for somebody who like stays alone?
Hermit?
Lone.
Hermit. He was becoming quite the hermit. He didn't like the presence of people nearby anymore. He looked at his foolish stone, who had, well, been rather rude to him on a few occasions, and he realized that the stone was his only friend. Time went on for a long time, and he spent so much time near his um, intelligent stone that he realized that he would need to have an improved relationship with it. So they promised never to fight again.
Right. I've missed an opportunity for this can talk.
Oh, would have been perfect.
Yeah. This is why you're not number one, Caleb.
I
was having a hard time deciding if I should have him promise the stone that he'd never argue with it, or promise his wife he'd never argue
Yeah.
with it.
I brought in the
we're on the
wife, and then I
same
realized my card didn't quite say what I thought it did, so I had to reevaluate my entire plan.
Wait, what did it say?
His broken heart was mended.
Mm.
I completely was like, oh, that's not what I thought it said.
Who's going first now? I think it was Caleb last time.
Yeah, and then you interrupted me again.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Once upon a time, there was a very sad beggar. This beggar was so sad, in fact, that he had nothing to do in his life, and he was still so quite young. However, one day, a strange bird seemed to be guiding him along somewhere. He followed this bird, and it seemed to be leading to some sort of wealthy house.
Nope. Wait, you're right.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Some sort of wealthy house. As he climbed up a tree near the house that the bird was perched on, and he peered through the window to see that the window led to a bedchamber. Inside the bedchamber was a beautiful princess. He looked at the princess and said, pass.
He looked at the princess and asked,
Oh, crap. Oh, dang.
just a second, but he's okay, and asked, "Hey, Miss Princess, what is up with your ring?" And she said, "Oh, why, this tiny little thing. I'm actually getting married. I'm planning it right now. Though our beggar was still dressed in red, he decided that maybe he could be lucky and have a chance with this princess. He went to the ballroom where they were all eating food. The fat prince was there, who was staring at his soon-to-be wife.
Husband and wife.
Oh! Okay, there you go.
Staring at his soon-to-be wife. The prince, or the homeless child next to the prince, looked, well, like a swamp. Does that count?
I don't know.
It's a place.
Yeah, it's a
That's
place.
fair. Seeing the prince and all of his riches, well, quite discouraged the poor beggar boy, and he fled to a swamp. The princess, seeing his distress, ran after her, leaving the wedding, as she had quite fallen taken to him after her conversation with him, especially compared to the antics of the smelly prince. She chased after the homeless boy.
Would you say her heart is stolen?
Yes.
Oh!
Allow this.
Chasing after him, she was able to find him on a log in the swamp, where she made him a promise. She promised that she would never leave him for the rest of her days.
Wait. Is it too late to do an event card?
No!
They
Okay.
she made a promise to part ways.
Wait, hold on. Isn't this a time to be like, wait, that goes exactly against what the story was just saying?
That's true.
She just
I
barely
mean,
ran
I
away
could
from her wedding to
explain.
go to a guy and be like, I don't want to be near you anymore.
If you can
I
find
mean,
a different
he
way,
has a decision.
if you can find a different way to make that in context, that would work.
Yeah, I think I can make it have sense.
Okay.
When she ran after him, he looked at her and said, "You know what? I don't think we're meant to be. I think we really should part." The princess ensued, but he scorned the princess and said, "You know what? I want to marry the poor servant girl. That because that is somebody who deserves love, not someone rich like you."
What servant girl?
No, the scorned
Just
princess asked this poor servant to marry
Oh.
him.
Oh.
So the princess has to
Oh,
ask
that's what it
the
says.
person.
Too bad though, they
Oh.
parted ways.
I ruined it for myself.
You
Do
did
I
make the parting
discard
ways make sense.
Yeah.
So I guess draw a new one and a new one of these cards, and my turn. So they parted ways.
Yeah.
The thief,
The thief?
isn't that what he
Yeah,
was?
he's a thief.
No, he was a homeless kid.
Oh wait, yeah, you're right. You're right. He's
Oh.
a beggar.
So the beggar, sorry. The beggar making his way back towards the castle looking to find a new love, came across a treasure. This treasure was unlike any he had ever seen. It was coated in jewels.
Ooh.
This treasure could talk to him.
Hmm.
When as this treasure talked to him, he fell under its spell. The treasure forced him to go to a ruins not too far
Nope.
from here.
The treasure made him go to the throne room.
Okay.
Where in the throne room, the princess was there doing her duty, and our beggar realized something, that maybe this is true love, and they kissed, and his enchantment was broken.
What enchantment?
Was there not an enchantment?
Oh wait, he
There
was
was
under a spell.
There's a
He was
spell
under a
over the
spell.
jewel.
Okay, okay.
So the jewel's entire enchantment was that it wanted to be broken.
Yeah, what an enchantment.
That's really interesting.
Hey, I mean, the Dungeon of Many Floors would have something general like that.
They would.
I was so close. I was like, oh my gosh, you're giving him a priceless treasure? And I was gonna be like, okay, yeah, she goes back to him, and her courage had made her rich. Her courage to go back to him made her rich because he got the
Nice.
cool jewel. But no.
Every time I get stairs in dungeon, I just want to lead it off to being the Dungeon of Many Floors.
That would be awesome.
Who starts this one? I think I started the last one.
Oh, so it's me?
Cat, cat, cat.
Okay. Our story starts in a tower where a child was lost, all alone, entrapped, somewhere where he can never escape.
Was he sad?
Now,
Yes.
Was he in a dungeon?
No, he's in a tower.
you can't interrupt.
Interrupted.
He's in a dungeon in a place where you can't get lost, get out.
But it was a tower.
A tower where you can't get out to dungeon.
It's a tower dungeon, I guess. So the boy, very sad, having been imprisoned by the queen, finds one day a book through the labyrinth of hallways that the tower holds.
Labyrinth of hallways is a dungeon. You cannot tell me that is not a dungeon.
It's a tower. I mean,
A
I'll
dungeon's
let you
like a
take it if you
prison.
want.
A
I'll
tower doesn't have a labyrinth of dungeons anyway.
Yeah, it could.
Okay.
I'll-
Well, it could have a labyrinth of spires and stuff that they could be going.
Yeah.
Yes.
So all of the ladders lead to a different floor, and not all floors are connected to each other.
Yeah, like a dungeon.
Still a tower.
Yeah, give this one to
Caleb,
Caleb.
yeah,
He has
because
it.
Okay.
I'll let him take. I already drew a card, so.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Gotcha.
he was going through this spooky freaking dungeon, man. This dungeon was crazy. To the point where even his very own shoes seemed to attack himself as they came alive. Um, he couldn't really find his way out. Uh, oh god. He couldn't really find his way out. And he was really starting to miss his stepmother, who was waiting for him at home.
He was missing his his husband, his wife. Although a child, everybody's just merely a child. He was really missing his dear Diana and her beautiful ring that she had. Even though she was very far away, he would still wish that one he would be found. While walking around, he found something too. He found a beautiful and big cauldron. This cauldron wasn't filled with water, it was filled with jewels. Um, pass.
Well, he counted himself very lucky to find a cauldron full of jewels. Did you do anything with the book, by the way?
Nope.
Nobody did anything with the. So he has a book and a cauldron.
Oh
full
wait,
of
he had a
jewels.
book. I didn't know he had a book.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
had a book.
Yeah, he had a
Oops.
book. I didn't do anything with it.
So using the knowledge he gained from the book and this cauldron full of jewels, he made friends with his shoes. So they no longer attacked him or each other. Making his way further through the tower dungeon, he came across a king.
What?
This king, while also trapped, was also very wealthy. The king, despite how wealthy he was, wanted the rest of the boy's jewels.
I don't ever want to hear you say a king wanting boys' jewels.
No. The boy, again using his newfound friends, the shoes, sent them off to the king. The shoes inserted themselves onto the king's feet and caused him to start dancing. This dancing made it impossible for the king to do anything, and the boy slipped out through a door that led to the outside. Making his way through the forest, he came across a house where within was a cook. This cook, however, was his wife.
Whoa.
She embraced him happily, and she never let her treasure out of her sight again.
Guys, I could have won if I had a turn.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah?
so I would have been like this. All right, yeah, so the king's there, right? But then it is revealed that the king is a monster. And so then he and his shoes form a bond, defeating this monster. And then the location of the tower they are is very high up, so they find a window, and they look over it, and they see that they are in the sky, a very high location that he is able to escape from. And then he's freed from his enchantment and marries his shoes the next day.
What?
Yep.
Wait, marries his shoes the next day.
Yeah.
Oh, the next day they were married. Okay. For some reason, I
Yeah.
thought it specifically said shoes.
Oh my gosh, I wish.
We're almost done with seeing all the endings.
Yeah. Well,
We haven't
most
even
of
seen all the endings. Yeah, we've only seen.
some of them were thrown
one
away
of them.
quietly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we still have had them. Who is starting this one?
I think it's Caleb.
Yeah, you started last time,
Okie dokie.
meaning you're gonna take it from me.
Yeah.
So, one day, or
Oh, dang! Just kidding.
once upon a time, there was a village, and in this village was a little boy. This little boy didn't like his parents. He was very, very angry at his parents, as they would not allow him to have ice cream after dinner. So he disobeyed them and ran away.
Nope.
Oh.
He. Actually, this doesn't make any sense. So
Okay. So he disobeyed them and ran away.
I could have done something way darker. Jeez.
Do you want to?
Yeah, do
Should
it.
I?
Do
If
it.
you have the interrupt, you might as well, right?
Yeah. So he hated his parents, but despite this, he was dying.
He was dying.
This poor boy was dying. For he, unbeknownst to the parents, he had been cursed for his
Nope,
disobedience.
he hasn't been cursed. He was crazy, and this is what was killing him.
Oh.
He would often go to the hidden sorry. I'm okay. He would often go to the walls of his small house and look over to watch the horses run by. His craziness made him want to go run into him. For his dying was more of a aspect of himself that made him want to die. Every chance he would get, he would try to do something. He would see a well and he would try to jump down. He would see hidden traps and try to jump into them.
Where is he seeing hidden traps?
He's a rogue, okay? He even thought of crazy plots where he would try to kill the queen so then he would be himself executed. But
Just
no
poor
matter,
kid.
no
I
matter
know.
what happened, and no matter what his death wished would make him want to do, his stepsister was always there to try to rescue him. One day, through his many attempts of trying to kill himself, he realized how loyal his sister has been, as she was always there trying to save
Oh,
him.
that was the first one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Way to go.
So they returned what was stolen to the original owner.
I didn't get to play anything. Oh, I got to play the dying. That's
Yeah.